Let's start off by saying it is not easy to run a good sports card show. It takes a lot of organizing, a lot of planning, and it is not easy, guys. So shout out to Brad, the promoter from this show, Shipshewana. Brad, over the last 3 years, has transformed Shipshewana from just a small little city with a population of like 800 people into a destination spot for a sports card show. And you got people coming from all over. You got people flying just to go to this show. And this was the 3rd anniversary of this show, which I've made a couple videos there, and it's just been better and better every single time. There's always a packed house. I was only there for a little bit, but the crowd was packed the entire time. I feel like every video I've made at this show, I've said that it was better than the previous, and this one was no exception. I feel like every time the show just gets a little bit better and better every single time they have it. You guys can see some of the crazy stuff that was here this time. Let me know if you guys went to a card show. What type of stuff did you find? Did you buy anything this weekend? Love to hear stuff like that, so leave it in the comments. There's lots of really good shows coming up, so I'm excited to get some videos of those. There was about like a month kind of cooling off after the National, but back into some really big shows coming up, so I'm excited for that. But let's check out some of the stuff that I got. Holy smokes, you guys are not gonna believe this. I just bought my most expensive card I've ever bought. It's not even close. This is an awesome card. I'm gonna show you guys when I get back. I only bought 2 cards. I've been here like half an hour. Just came in quick, walked around, got some videos, and did the one deal, and got 2 massive cards. This is gonna be super awesome. All right, guys, we're back with these only 2 cards that I got. I was in and out under an hour today, and I got both these in the same deal. We'll start off with the first one, and then we'll move on to the most expensive card I have ever bought. Starting it off with the Cap Anson N28 Allen and Ginter. Incredibly tough card. At PSA, there are less than 200 examples of these ever graded. I know some people are familiar with Cap Anson. If you're not familiar with him, he's basically known as the best pre-1900 baseball player that there was. He is probably the biggest name, if not at least in the top 2 or 3 names of pre-1900. He's in the Goodwin Champions set, and this is one of his other most iconic cards here. So this card, you can see PSA Authentic Altered. The alteration on this, it was down in a screw down, so I believe it's correct size. It was in a screw down, so not trimmed or anything. Awesome card, super tough to find. Hardly any sales of this card ever. So that was an amazing card, and that wasn't even the biggest card in the deal. So on top of the Cap Anson, we got this one right here. 3, 2, 1. The Mickey Mantle 56 tops, 7.5, near mint plus. Incredibly tough grade, tough high grade, and one of Mantle's most popular cards. I've been working on a deal on this card for months, and we finally got it done. I've been trying to just work something out over the past 2 or 3 months, and finally got it done. Deal closed for this awesome Mantle. So that was it. I kind of knew I was going there looking for the Mantle. I wasn't sure I was going to buy it, but got the Mantle and the Cap Anson. And after that, my pockets were empty. I had to just leave, go home. But holy smokes. I'll put a close-up of it so you don't get as much glare, but holy cow, this card is sharp. It's not perfectly centered, but it's very well centered. As you can see, it is just a hair kind of to the right there, but top to bottom, it's about perfect. Left to right is very close, maybe 60-40, 55-45. So a super awesome example there. And I forgot to mention, I also went to another show the same weekend. It was a little bit of a smaller show, but I found some hidden gems there, some other 1800s cards. So I'll flip the camera around here and show you guys a little bit closer. So we got 2 of these 1800s cards. Tim Keefe, another one of the best players of the pre-1900s era. He was a pitcher and a very good pitcher at that. Super good looking one with just this crease going across his face. I may crack it, maybe send it to PSA or see if I can just get a 1.5. And then this other set here is super tough. This Scraps Tobacco This is Robert Carruthers, I believe is how you pronounce it. He is also a Hall of Famer, so both these guys are Hall of Famers. And both of these are incredibly tough cards. If we're looking at the Carruthers, this is SGC obviously, but by PSA, there has been 11 cards graded by PSA. I think it's similar at SGC, like between 11 and 15 examples at SGC. So there's probably like 25 of this thing in existence. And then for the Tim Keefe, that's even more rare. So we got a Pop 4 at PSA, and I think it's also a Pop 4 at SGC. Incredibly rare cards if you can find these 1800s Hall of Famers. The Tim Keefe I'm going to be putting back into the personal company vault collection. So this one, along with the Cap Anson, are staying in my hands. I don't keep cards too often, but when I do, I make sure they're cards that I really want and I think are super important, usually rare cards.